No, it's an open.
I'd like to call this meeting for April 2nd to order. Roll call, please, Lori.
Dick Pufall,
Here.
Mike Berlin,
Here.
Clarence Campbell,
Here.
Bill Metzinger,
Here.
Martin Vitek.
Here.
Next, we need a motion to approve the agenda. Bill,
I will make motion to approve it.
motion by Bill Metzinger. Seconded by Marty Vitek. All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Public comment period. 3 minutes per person, 30-minute limit for all public comments. Anyone for public comments? Last call for public comments. Hearing none, we'll go on to number 4. Approval of the executive committee meetings from February 15th. Motion by
I'll
Clarence.
move to approve. I second.
Seconded by Mike Berlin. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Comment. We have some unexpected guests today.
We need to use a microphone, please.
We're kind of in the middle of the meeting. We're kind of in the middle of the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said today.
Sorry about Jerry. We have a motion and a second to approve the committee meetings. We do have, we just didn't vote on it. All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Go to number 5, discussion action item. Approve Spark Youth Wellness organizational chart. Dan, I guess that would be up to you.
Actually, Scott, you want to come? Microphone. You have to use the microphone.
Thanks for taking a few minutes today to chat about this. So I'm Scott Griffiths. I run the Spark program, and we recently added the Ignite program, working with the Ashland School District. The school district received a grant and asked us to run some alternative ed programming during the day. So we've kind of increased the number of staff. And so we've got 2 things in the packet. We have kind of our existing organization chart. You can see in the existing chart in red there, we had approved a while back an administrative and logistics assistant position. We did not have any luck filling that position. And so really those roles and duties have been kind of taken on by other people within the organization at this point. So what I'm proposing and what I'd asked Dan and Terry to see if we could move forward with is just a little bit of a reorganization. One of the things that I feel like I said, we've kind of filled a lot of the administrative and logistics roles within the current organization, but we do have almost 10,000 square feet that we're maintaining, that we're using in the Ashland Area Development Corporation building. So things like just cleaning, maintenance, changing batteries and clocks, like changing light bulbs, those sweeping, mopping, cleaning the bathrooms, helping in the kitchen. You know, we're feeding somewhere between 40 and 60 kids a day. So what we're hoping to do is just create a new position that would be a maintenance and kitchen assistant. Get rid of that administrative and logistics position, which has already been approved and has been vacant for probably 6 or 7 months. And then the other thing that I'm hoping to have approved today is we have one of our lead mentors, someone who's been with us now for just over 2 years, to kind of step into a team lead role on that day-to-day operations piece of the Spark program. So that I don't have, when someone's saying, oh, I'm going to be 15 minutes late for work, that they're not necessarily having to get a hold of me for those things, that they can actually call somebody who's really on the day-to-day kind of team lead. It's a non-management position. We're not looking for kind of an exempt status or a salary or anything like that. It would just be an hourly position, but they would be kind of that first point of contact for the after-school program staff. Because now that we have these two different programs that run with the daytime
I know,
programming,
tell me about
my
it.
day starts often at 8:30 in the morning and then goes till 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night sometimes. So I'm trying to find ways to not have to be on site all of that for all of those hours. And so I have one person who's a lead with that daytime programming with the Ignite kids. That was approved a while back. And it makes a lot of sense to me to have one other person that's kind of in charge of the after school programming, or kind of like the team lead for that after school programming, so that I've got a little bit more of broader program oversight, but not necessarily running the nuts and bolts operation of who's going to be 15 minutes late to work or who needs to leave early because they got a doctor's appointment. That just some of those types of specifics. So I still deal with the finances and all of the expenses, and all of that type of stuff is still well within my purview, but would like to just create a new position to replace the administrative and logistics, which would be more maintenance and kitchen focused. And then to kind of promote Tim into this position of the Spark team lead.
Bill,
Are these changes or positions, are they covered under grants
Yep. Everything we
entirely?
Yep. And there's not really going to be any net impact on the budget for this change. There would be a slight hourly wage increase for Tim to move into that team lead role. But the position that we had approved previously for that admin and logistics position, we've actually decreased the hourly wage a little bit for this maintenance and kitchen assistant position, because it's more of an entry level. So there's not really any impact on our overall budget, but there's no impact at all on levy funding because it's all 100% grant funded.
Richard,
yes,
has Tim been there for a while?
Yeah, Tim's been here for 2 years, which unfortunately within our program, he's one of our longest employees. You know, these $17 an hour type positions that are part-time, we don't have super long staff retention. So there's a fair amount of turnover. Actually, 2 of the people that are listed on this right now are no longer with us, like their actual names. The positions are still there. We've refilled them. But Tim has been with us for over 2 years now, and is really committed to the program and has been a really great asset.
Is he considered part-time or is he full-time?
Still considered part-time, and would not change. That status would not change.
Are most of the employees that you have, are they part-time or full-time? Part-time, right?
Part-time. We do have, so Amber Pickney is a full-time position. The grant funding that is funding that position right now is ending at the end of this year. So we're trying to figure out if Amber wants to continue on with us, like how do we fund that? But that, again, it's all of these positions, when we offer the employment letters, it's all stated very clearly in the employment letter that they're all grant dependent, and that the positions will terminate if the grant funding is no longer available. So, but we have right now on this page of these people on this list, myself, and then 2 other folks that are full-time. And those are full-time, again, grant funded full-time positions.
On these part-time people, what is the minimum number of hours do they work, and what's the maximum number on part-time people?
You know, they're considered LTEs, you know, and Dan and I spoke about this a little bit, like, because some of them are are working upwards of 35 and depending on a week. So sometimes we'll do like an overnight trip. So sometimes we do overnight trips with kids or things along those lines. So we'll take them down to the museums in Minneapolis or something. We do overnight trips. So there are times when even though some of our part-time staff are getting overtime hours. So they will cross over that 40-hour threshold occasionally. But I would say in general, the staff range anywhere from 16 to 20 hours a week up to 32 to 35 hours a week. Some of that's dependent on time of year, like in the busier times of year, or like last week we had it was spring break. So some of those staff, probably worked 12 hours last week, but so it depends a little bit on the needs of the programming as well. Yeah, I think we try and meet our staff where they're at, and if they are looking for more time, there's usually things that we can help them find ways to get more hours. The budget has not been our limiting factor at this point with the grant funding that we've secured for this program.
I'll support Scott's proposed recommendation.
You make it. You make it and take that part.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how we wanted to do that because they're one right after another, so
Microphone, please.
Yeah. They're not on. Oh,
I'll second Mike's motion then. So we're just approving the organizational chart to start out with, correct?
Well, like I said, could the motion read approving the organizational chart contingent upon the next
Okay.
two agenda items being approved?
right.
Otherwise you're approving the next two items with the chart.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
If someone's talking, you need your
I'll make a
microphone.
motion.
Supervisor Berlin made the motion and Supervisor Campbell seconded.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Oh, now we're,
The next two items are really very much.
Microphone, please.
The next two items are very much related. It's just the kind of the change of the job descriptions. So we did the proposed wage scale increase for the Spark team lead. And then the other one is the new job description for a kitchen and maintenance assistant to kind of help around the facility and help keep the kitchen cleaned up and prep meals and those types of things. So it's two positions, and this is just the job description changes and the proposed grade and steps.
Mr. Chairman, question I have is this in parallel with the Ashland County wage code, wage scale?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
One of the changes that has been really helpful as we moved forward with this is that we've been able to just have a really clear, with the wage study, have a very clear spot for where we're starting staff. And so in all of our job descriptions now and all of our hire letters and whatnot, that grade and step is clearly indicated. And so you can see that at the top of both of these job descriptions where it does delineate the wage grade and step as part of the wage scale study.
And I'd add that the clerk's office double checks to make sure that the grade and step is appropriate for the job. And make sure that the hiring letter includes everything it needs to include, so nobody is there right there for them. And every department uses the same letter.
Yeah, the clarification that has come from that process has been really helpful.
If someone's talking, please use your microphone.
Nobody was talking, Lori.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Spark team lead position.
Marty Vitek, I'll second it.
Motion by Clarence to approve, second by Marty Vitek. All in favor, say aye.
All right,
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
And then we just have one more position. This is just the maintenance and kitchen position.
Are we on 6?
You're on number 7.
Okay. Discussion and action, approve Spark maintenance and kitchen assistant position. Bill,
Microphone, please.
This is Bill. I make a motion that we approve this position.
I'll second that. All those in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. And I'm looking at agenda item number 8, and that actually is, we're with the proposed change to the org chart, we're actually eliminating that administrative and logistics position. We're not looking to approve that one.
Right, so we can skip over that.
Great.
So we're on number 9. Is that's
That is
also
not
one.
me.
That's it.
Nope. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate your
Yes,
time.
Terry.
Turn my
Thanks,
microphone
Scott.
off, Lori.
So 8 is gone.
Yeah, we're on number 9.
Discussion action item, approved quality assurance and improvement coordinator job description.
Terry, do you want to take this one?
Yes, so we are asking to approve this new position. We have our administrator for the Bayfield County and Ashland County CCS program who is retiring, Val Levno. She has been in that position since we took it over in 2019. We advertised for both her position and the service director position for Ashland County at the same time. We didn't get any applicants for the service director position, but the current service director applied for the administrator position. And that is Terry Oviska. She is a very well qualified candidate and she was approved to take over that position. However, that left some of her duties only can be done by a licensed mental health professional. So we had to look, since we didn't have any qualified candidates for that, we had to kind of carve out some of those job duties that are not required by statute to be done by a licensed professional. And we have thus come up with this new position, which is more focused on quality assurance and improvement coordination. It will do rate setting, it'll do vendor outreach, it'll do marketing, it will ensure lots of quality improvement to make sure that we are all compliant with the state in this program. So this position is a 15 on the wage scale. Val's position was a 16. Terry was at a 15, so she's moving to a 16. This is budget neutral, and it has the support of both Bayfield County and Ashland County to fill this position. So that is what we are requesting. I think it is a good step forward and will be good for the position and the program overall.
How does this position get funded? Is it on the general budget or is it through
There-
grant?
So mostly it is 100%, it's supposed to be 100% fully funded. We get about 97%. So there is a little budget levy that goes into it, and that's the program overall. We have made huge steps in getting it up to the 97% and hope to have it at 100% shortly. But there is a little bit of, like a 3% levy that is in this position. So, but that's for the program overall. So this isn't anything new. And this position is no different than the other ones. It's all the same funding sources.
Is
So-
there money in the budget for this?
Yeah, there is. So I had the same question that Supervisor Metzinger did about CCS in general. And it is supposed to be 100% funded. But in the past, for quite a while, it hasn't been quite there. I've talked to other counties about this and they've had similar issues of not getting the 100%, getting close to the 95 to 98%. So, we are getting close to what we should be getting. And this is about as budget neutral as we can get with the state funding.
No.
I move that we adopt this request.
Clarence,
I'll second.
motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We're on number 10, discussion action item. Approve HHSD social work case manager request.
Jerry, would you like to?
Yep, I can go ahead and start. So when we were doing the wage study, all of the various positions within the children's unit and the adult unit had varying job duties. And so Dan had asked if we could condense them down to save money on the wage study, so we didn't have to pay for as many job descriptions. And prior to probably 2013, we did have just a social worker case manager 1, social worker 2, and social worker 3 position. So in discussion with Dan and with the people who did the wage study, we created those job descriptions. And basically what was determined in that wage study was that any new employee would come in at entry level. And then after 2 years, if they had a successful annual review and support from their supervisor, they would be able to ask for a promotion to the social worker 2 position. And so at the 2-year mark, we have 2 people, both Melissa Burns and Carol Burrell, who have already hit their 2-year mark. And so we do have it in the budget for this step to be approved. And so it's basically a formality. If you would approve this, then we can proceed with their promotion.
I guess I will jump in then. I'm Jerry Esela. I'm the supervisor for the Children and Families Unit. I just, in terms of the request made by the workers, both these workers have done exceptional work in the 2+ years that they have been with us. I see Carol's got her camera on. Missy, you want to put your camera on so the supervisors can see you? I don't know where she is. There she is. So Melissa Burns was hired on January 11th, 2022. I consider myself extremely lucky to have been able to have rather stolen her from the tribe. She had 6 years previous experience working as an Indian child welfare worker. Missy subsequently got her bachelor's degree. And she also has her AODA certificate to do AODA counseling. Missy is a trained forensic interviewer through the Wisconsin Forensic Interview System, and does a exceptional job in doing those interviews with young children. She's also completed her Wisconsin Juvenile Court Intake Training, so she performs duties on call for both child abuse and neglect and for youth justice intake. There have been, I'm trying to think of all the other trainings, basically the big ones though, the state does have required foundation trainings, and Melissa has completed all of those as well. So as of her anniversary date of 1/11/2024, Melissa's been with us for 2 years, and I wholeheartedly endorse her promotion to social worker 2.
Bill,
This is Bill speaking. How long before, if we did nothing before they would be moved up? Is it a time thing, or is it a recommendation, or how does that, when you move up to the next grade?
Moving up to the next grade is a time thing and then subject to executive committee approval.
How long is that time period?
2 years,
But they already have their 2 years in.
correct.
Okay. And how much of an increase from one grade up is?
It would be 2.5% each.
No, that's a step.
That's a step, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Um,
I don't
I was
have it.
looking, I was actually looking for that earlier to see if I had the wage study on the computer here. It's roughly, I want to say it's roughly 5%.
Per grade?
Yeah. Well, the cost of living is 2.5. So each grade goes up about 5%. Grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. And then steps 1, 2, 3, 4. So you could be a grade 10, in this case, it's a grade 11. And the step increase for the COLA would be a 2.5% increase. So if you're at the end of the year, beginning of the year, you get, let's see, you're at $20 an hour, you get 2.5% every year. But to go to the step would be 5%, so that would be, that would be twice the COLA.
In addition.
Yeah, and then they would be eligible for step increases each year on the higher base.
And I believe Terry mentioned, but these two social worker 2 positions were already put into the budget for this year as of the first of the year. So it's already paid for.
make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve? Second?
Seconded by Mike Berlin.
We doing them both together or one at a time?
Sorry, that's up to the committee. Do you want to do both together or one at a time?
I
I
don't see
think
why
we should
not.
do both of them.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I'll change my motion to approve both appointments.
Question?
Bill,
Was this brought up before the Social Services Committee?
No, it wasn't. This is the personnel issue, so it comes to this committee. No, it comes to this committee.
Yeah.
If you approve it, then it goes into effect. I believe, Jerry, you had a qualifier you wanted to add onto it when it takes effect.
Pardon me?
I believe you had an opinion on when this grade increase should take effect.
Yes,
As
I
opposed to like
I would
May.
ask that, so Carol is on the screen too. Carol's anniversary date is August 1st. So she is quite a bit past her second anniversary. So I would request that her rate increase be retroactive to January 1st of this year. Again, already in the budget, already paid for. And then Melissa's 2-year anniversary was January 11th. So I would ask that be approved back to January 11th.
Microphone, please.
Mike, Mr. Berlin seconded, but just to clarify, does the original motion include the going back to January 1st and January 11th respectively? Yeah, just so everybody's clear on it. Mr. Chairman, does your motion include bringing Carol's wage retroactive to January 1st and Missy's retroactive to January 11th?
Yeah,
Okay, just to clarify. And Mr. Berlin, is your second for that? Okay, just so everybody understands,
so,
just so there's no issues.
My microphone keeps fading out. Now, if either of these people would leave, what position would they start at? What grade or?
11.
They would not
they would-
start at their grade.
Right, they
No.
would start at the grade below, step 1. So grade 11, step 1, instead of grade 12, step 1, which is where they're going.
all right, ready to vote? Have a motion and a second to approve both the Burns and Burrows new positions. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to number 12 on the agenda.
So that is me again. I can start. This is a position for a grant that we received to provide medication-assisted treatment in the jail, which is something I believe is fully supported by the county. There had been talk of using opioid settlement funds to do something like this, but we were able to receive a very generous grant for over $200,000 to provide this in the jail. I would ask, because there's been a change since we created this position, with input from the state, feeling it's not appropriate for a certified peer specialist to provide medication observation, which is a huge part of this position. So I just got done meeting with Brian and Jen from the jail. We feel we probably just need to keep like most of the requirements the same, but change the job title to a service facilitator / case manager. It would still be the same wage grade, but it will allow them to do everything that they need to do without pushback from the state on what is some people's opinions on whether it's ethical for a certified peer specialist to do medication observation. So to get around that, we would like to just change this to a service facilitator / case manager. It is fully funded through the grant. And I think it's going to be a very positive thing for the county, for inmates to help with recovery and treatment.
I can tell you that addiction in general is the biggest problem we have at the jail. It's a real huge issue. I mean, so many people are coming in addicted, or new people are coming in, sneaking it in. It's a real problem. They fight every day.
How long is this grant for?
It was effective yesterday, and it goes through March 31st of 2025.
It's basically a 1-year grant.
Mhm.
Bill,
do you have a person in this position already, or do you know of when it's going to be filled?
We anticipate with changing this to a service facilitator / case manager, we will probably get an increase in applicants, and we would fill it as soon as possible, including interviews this week and next week if possible, so we can get the grant up and running.
Gary, if the grant, when the grant runs out and there's no other grants, would CCS cover this position?
So it can't pay for any services in the jail. It's not an approved setting. We could still provide quite a bit of it. So let me step back a minute. What we created when we wrote this grant was a Cadillac version of what we wanted to do. When that funding goes away, we will have to pare it down. But this position could transition into a CCS service facilitator, or they could be a contracted provider. But in general, CCS can't pay for any services while a person is incarcerated. And that's kind of a Medicaid rule.
We have a motion. Ernest,
I'll make a motion that we change the title of this position to service facilitator case manager and approve it. Is that appropriate?
Bernie. Change the title to facilitator.
Service facilitator case manager, as Terry suggested.
I know. Marty,
This is Marty Vitek, I'll second it.
we have a motion and a second on the floor. Change the title of this position as a facilitator.
Service facilitator / case manager.
Okay, you got that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Administrator updates.
Okay, well, as everybody saw when they walked in, whoops. Lost the screen. As everybody saw when we walked in, construction has started on the building. They obviously just started the scaffolding. It'll be going on through the summer. So it'll be fun here. Two, we just got a big load of opiate funds in this week. So that brings our total account balance to about $250,000. We'll of course be getting more as money is released and cases are settled. There's still some out there outstanding that have not been fully settled yet. So that's the big one. Three, I mean, we all know about Northland College. We expect an answer this week. I can tell you we've been doing everything possible to keep them open. So we'll fill you in as events happen. I should find out more actually after this meeting, to be honest. So that's really all I got. We're going to have a county board meeting, I think on April 30th. The reason being we have to hold a public hearing for that CDBG grant that we approved at the last meeting. And that has to be noticed for 2 weeks. And Northwest Regional is not ready to do the public hearing just yet. So they will be sending us the notice soon. And again, we're going to have to act on it April 30th. so they have time to put the grant together and submit it by May 15th. So, and so hopefully we'll have committee assignments done at that time too. Move everybody along. I will say, we will have, at the reorg, we will have, election of this committee and the highway committee. And I have the appointments done for HHS because they meet the following night. So they need to have a committee in place already in order to meet. And as a reminder, the next day at 2:00, Bad River is coming here. So if any members here that would like to attend, it's going to be here at 2:00 on the 17th. We'll have 2 county board meetings in April, yeah. One on the 16th, which is the statutory meeting for reorganization. Then on the 17th, interested members of the board will be meeting with the Bad River Tribal Council. And then on the, I think the 30th, to keep it on Tuesdays, is when we'll have the hearing, public hearing for the CDBG. For the 16th, we're also going to put on the agenda, establish a meeting time. So we can, that way the county board can decide how to accommodate members who have to work during the day. Or whether to. So that statutory meeting will be at 9:00 as normal, and then we'll decide that day whether to continue at 9 or set a different time period. So, yes, sir.
This is Bill. Is, down the road, is there going to be discussion on whether Zoom can be in closed session or not?
Yes, and if you'd like, we could do that on the 30th meeting.
Well, would the executive committee have to approve that change first if that's what they were going to do?
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate. So we can put that on the next exec agenda.
Okay, so that would have to be before the 30th?
That would have to be before the 30th, yes. But yeah, yeah, I think that's a good discussion to have. I mean, the WCA says it's best practice not to do closed session on Zoom. So. Nope, I don't have anything else. Other than to say good luck, everyone. I think we'll have to wait until after the election of the committee to set a date. Because we don't know who's going to be on the committee yet.
Bill,
This is Bill. I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second, Mike.
motion by Bill, seconded by Mike Berlin. Adjourn, all those in favor?
I,
Aye. Anyone opposed can stay by themselves.